Well, it's July 31st. Where did the time go? Who even knows? This month, I hit some reading slumps and some recording slumps and some editing slumps. And so I didn't do a whole lot with BookTube, but I did do some watching. There was also a period where I was in a slump from even watching BookTube, but that seems to have gone away somewhat. One thing that I do when with my subscribers is that I just add them all to watch later, and then as I go through my week or whatever, I just try to watch a bunch. And it has felt like it's too much. It's overwhelming. But there's always a lot to choose from. So I've decided to try to reduce my list of videos to watch by 10% each day. So after I add them all in, I look at what 10% of that is, and I try to watch at least that many videos. So right now, that's 15 videos a day, which is still a lot. But, maybe I'll change it. I'm going to try to keep an eye on, who I'm skipping, who I'm watching a lot of, make sure that I'm watching diversely, but also if there are people that I'm routinely ignoring, making sure that I think about why that is, think about whether their content is for me and whether it's a good fit, and if not, unsubscribing, but just kind of keeping them in mind. Because I know that there was a bunch of folks talking about how, if you subscribe to somebody but then you don't actually watch their content and engage with their content, then that actually can hurt them. So I'm going to try to be mindful about that as I try to get my subscription list under control. But, if anybody's got any recommendations for what they do, I'm already, playing with the speed to maximize my, engagement time, depending on how they talk and so forth. Okay, so July, lots of stuff happened. I still owe you a wrap-up from June, so I'm going to probably do a wrap-up that's June and July maybe together, just to kind of go over all of that. But I do want to give you a sense of what I'm looking at for August. So there's 2 readathons and 2 slow reads that have shaped my TBR. So the first readathon is the Heartathon, and 3 of the 4 people I was already following, and I just love all of them and all of their content. They're newbies as well, so it's great to go and give them some attention. So look up Heartathon, look up all the hosts, go check out their stuff, see if it's for you. But yeah, so Heartathon is about reading about characters who have heart, where they are outstanding in one of a few different areas. So the first one is education. The second one is art. The third one is resistance. And the fourth one is technology. And I'm not certain that things will fit, but I'm gonna go with it and see how it goes. Also, I think that I tend to gravitate towards things with heart, so it's entirely possible that other things that I read in the course of the month will count, and maybe I can include that in an August wrap-up. Another one that I want to participate in is the history challenge. There's a whole lot of prompts, and I don't really know which ones I'm going to gravitate towards, so I'm going to try to just, after I've gone through the other things that I've committed to doing, try to read more history and see what I can count it for. You can use it to count it for multiple things, but any extra space in my schedule, I want to include history books and see what I can do with that challenge. And then there's 2 slow buddy read type things that I'm a part of. One is the Octavia Butler slow read-along, and that's over a year of Octavia Butler. The first book is Kindred, and I read that in June, so I picked up, because I saw that this was a thing, I picked up Kindred the graphic novel, and so I'm going to be reading that in August. And then I also, after Ashley posted her thing about how she annotates, introduced these cool tabs. There's lots of different colors, and I think that it might be interesting to reread Kindred, the original, and apply some tabs, because I wasn't doing any tabbing at that point in my reading journey. So yeah, I'm being overly ambitious. I'm probably not going to get to it, but that's something that I was thinking might be kind of neat going into the wrap up of Kindred with Onyx pages and so forth. So that's that. The other slow read along is the slowly reading over time the Count of Monte Cristo, and I'm way behind. I think we're supposed to be done with chapter 21 at the end of this month, and I am not there. I think I might be on chapter 3. But I have it on audiobook and Kindle, and I'm kind of doing the whisper read together thing. So I think I can get caught up in August. So that's going to be my thought on that one. Yeah, so those are the readathons shaping my reading intentions for August. The other intention that I have is to reduce the number of books that I'm in progress reading. So I'm going to look at all of the things that I started in July but did not finish. So let me kind of go over those. I did actually kind of take part in the reading rush. I was in a slump at the time, and I was just like, let's pick some books that I'm not currently reading and just see where I go with it. And that was actually really useful for me getting back into reading. But I didn't finish that much. I think I only finished the ones that were audiobooks. Audiobooks have been great for me. And I didn't even finish all the ones that were audiobooks. I think I finished Becoming by Michelle Obama and Catching Fire by Susan Collins. That might have been all I finished. But so books that I want to finish from July are this side. Animorphs, The Invasion. This was the prompt from the Reading Rush, and I mentioned this in a video that never ended up getting posted, but the Animorphs is like one of my partner's favorite series from childhood. I think it might be good for my little nibbling at some point, but I don't really know when, and I know that there's a lot of different deep themes going on with it, so I want to pre-read so that I can introduce it to him at the right time. Also, he's an avid and voracious reader, so once I get him started, I won't be able to stop him. So I want to make sure that I start him at the right time so that, I don't cause major psychological trauma. Well, until it's the appropriate time to start dealing with psychological trauma. We all got to get there eventually, but timing is useful. Yeah, I want to finish that. I'm probably going to want to read several in that series, but just for August, I'm going to just try to finish the first one so I can get a good baseline. Next up is An Unkindness of Ghost. This is where I actually started tabbing, and I actually started tabbing before Ashley's video, but I think this is a good first step. I'm loving this book. The only reason why I'm not finished with this book is because I ran out of blue tabs, and I couldn't bear to keep reading without having blue tabs. I do now have a replacement of the set that I was using, so I have my blue back, so I can pick it back up and keep going. Blue here is for, ways in which Aster, feels real and validating to me as an autistic person. So that's a lot. So you can tell I love this book, and it's just so lovely. So yeah, it looks like I'm about halfway done, third of the way done, something like that. So definitely want to finish this in August, only because I can't finish it in the next 2 hours and 15 minutes. So otherwise it would be finished in July. The next one I'd like to finish is God's Little Soldier. I started reading this for the Fuckathon as fuck religious fundamentalism and intolerance, And I'm only on page 100 out of 550. So there's definitely a lot of work still to do here, and maybe I won't. It isn't speaking to me the same way that it did when I read it years ago, but I think that there's still a lot for me to think about with it. There's also the thing where now that I am doing more on the annotation front, I might want to start over again and use stickies to think about things. I think that might be a better thing, so I might need to start over, which might mean that another time would be better. But yes, thank you to Noria for hosting the Fuckathon. It got me thinking about things from my past, like this, that I just wasn't expecting. But, a lot of readathons talk about beautiful covers, and look at how gorgeous that is, right? So, I'm sure it'll be back. And then there's A Beautifully Foolish Endeavor. This didn't grip me as much as the first one did. So, and I'm currently reading it with my girlfriend. So, it's quite possible that we will just read it more slowly over time, and I'll let you know when I finish it either way. So, those are the things that I want to finish. Oh, one other that I want to finish reading, I have it on audiobook from my library. I'm not going to finish it tonight, and I'm not going to finish it before it's due, tomorrow. So I have placed a hold on it again, but that is Children of Blood and Bone. That was going to fit with the African fantasy and sci-fi lit. I think it might be the only one that qualifies for that. Actually, I'll need to look at where Akweke Emezi's from, because Pet might have counted as well. Anyway, there'll be another video about all of that. But, yeah, Children of Blood and Bone, it's going fairly well so far, so I just want to finish that up. And then I also have started adding things to my library thing on audio, and, I just realized that I don't think I talked about the readathons, what I'm actually reading for the readathons. So, for education, I'm reading Locomotion by Jacqueline Woodson. I recently, in June, read Brown Girl Dreaming, and just reminded me of reading this book and loving it. And it's written in verse. The main character is a young boy who is writing poetry for the first time because his teacher is doing a poetry unit and doing that. And so I think that the teacher is exhibiting heart by trying to get young children to write poetry and to really express themselves. It's a challenge. So I'm gonna say that teacher has heart, and I'm gonna use that as an excuse to read another Jacqueline Woodson book, even though I've already read it, because I have not read it in over a decade. For art, I'm going to use You Are an Artist. This is by Sarah Urist Green, and she has a YouTube channel called The Art Assignment. And in here, essentially, there's some information about an artist and a little bit of pictures, and then an assignment, and then some just kind of tips and sheets for how to do that assignment. There's a whole lot of artists in here. I feel like some, if not all of these, show heart, and that Sarah Urist Green definitely does by taking the time to put all of this together. So that's going to count for arts. For resistance, I have an audiobook that I'm checking out from Libby called Masterminds. It was recommended by Ashley. I should really state Ashley's channel. I think it's Bookish Realm? Bookish Realm, yes. So every time that I have said Ashley, there is only one Ashley. You know this. You know this. There is only one Ashley, and it is Ashley from Bookish Realm. But she recently did a video about audiobooks, and it included some recommendations. One of those was Masterminds, and it seems like that will count for resistance. And then for technology, I have the complete trilogy of Binti. I'm just going based on what it says on the back. It sounds like she is extraordinary when it comes to technology, and that she uses a lot of heart and technology to make things happen. So I'm hoping that will qualify. If not, I'll find something. Other than that, I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks, which has been nice. So I also have a whole lot on Libby. I don't think I can really keep up, but even if I just, do what I can and return them and check them out again later, that's fine. So, like I mentioned, Children of Blood and Bone, but then there's also The Marrow Thieves, Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind, which will count probably for some of the history prompts. Renegades #1 by Marissa Meyer. Fun fact, Marissa and I went to college together. She was on the second floor of my dorm where I was on the third floor, and I totally went and, hung out with her. She probably doesn't remember me. It was, somebody she was with at the time was friends with somebody I was with at the time, and we, interacted in that capacity. But, yeah. So, I'm now that I know that she's, famous and written a lot of cool stuff, I should probably read some of her stuff, especially now that I'm getting back into reading. So, yeah, I'm gonna do that. But yeah, so, they didn't have a lot of her stuff on audiobook, but I did pick up Renegades for that, so, that should be fun. And then Mockingjay, I've been really enjoying the Hunger Games trilogy. I hadn't actually read them. I picked it up just because it seems like a thing that's going around that I did enjoy the movies for, and I've heard a lot of good things about from people both on and off of BookTube, so it was worth giving it a shot. Another one that I checked out on audiobook is 1984. I haven't read that in a long time, and I feel like it would feel very resonant, so, picked that up. I also picked up Audacity of Hope. In July, I listened to Becoming by Michelle Obama, and it really got me thinking about President Barack Obama in a different way, and so I'm really interested to see how my new perceptions of him are filtered through The Audacity of Hope, because I really like the title, The Audacity of Hope, but I never really knew how much I wanted to, buy into it. So, Obama has earned more trust with me through Michelle's book, and so now I'm particularly interested in Obama's book. And then I picked up Quit Like a Millionaire, which I think somebody recommended, or at least stated as a book that changed them. Hold on. This person's really awesome and brand new, so I should look up their name. Can I find them? I'm following too many people, y'all. Too many people. I love you all. But also, too many people. Hey, it's Shey. I think that was one that she had in her video about just books that changed her over the course of her 20s. Not necessarily the best books, but books that had an impact on her. And so I think that it was one that I wanted to look at there. I might be wrong, it might have been somebody else, but it seems in line with the things that she was talking about in that video. Also, A Good Kind of Trouble, which I heard about first from Ashley, The One and Only from Bookish Realms, and then George by Alex Gino, which I believe I heard about from How to Train Your Dragon. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with August. I'll try to keep y'all more in the loop and actually give you some reflections on the things that I have read. But in the meantime, I'm just going to kind of keep you apprised of what my plans are and how they will be tossed to the wind, because that's apparently how I do things. It'll be fine. Alright, hope you all had a great July and have a great August. Please put an emoji with a face that kind of shows how you're doing. How are you feeling? Smiley face, frowny face? Let me know.